When you think of Canada, you probably think of maple syrup, friendly folks, and the pure utter domination and pain LeBron was able to inflict on the entire country. It took until LeBron's second Cleveland stint for him to finally have a playoff matchup against the Raptors, but in the Eastern Conference Finals of the 2015-16 season, his 3-year reign of terror over Canada would begin. Games 1 and 2, LeBron and the Cavs would dominate, taking early leads and never letting up. LeBron himself put up pretty modest numbers, but you could already see his intimidation in full effect on the two biggest victims of LeBronto, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, who struggled. In games 3 and 4, the duo would bounce back with great performances to take both games, tying the series, with a lot of help coming from two huge games from Bismack Biyombo, of all people. Game 5, DeMar and Lowry would fall back down to earth, putting up terrible performances and getting blown out before the first quarter was even finished. In Game 6, our heroes would put up some good performances, but LeBron would have his first great performance of the series, putting the Raptors to bed. And the Cavs, as you know, would go to the finals and come back from down 3-1 against the Warriors to win their first ever championship. In the offseason, the Raptors were fully confident that all they needed was to fill up a few holes, and they would be able to overcome the Cavaliers to take the Eastern Conference. In the draft, they took Jakob Poeltl and Pascal Siakam, a great draft looking back, but at the time, both of these guys were pretty raw. They brought in PJ Tucker to be a tough 3-and-D defender, lost Biyombo, who got extremely overpaid. At the deadline, they traded Terrence Ross for Serge Ibaka, and both Lowry and DeRozan each had their best statistical seasons to this point. They secured the 3 seed and went into the playoffs with the utmost confidence. Round 1, they beat a young Giannis in the Bucks in 6. And in round 2, once again, they found themselves matched up against LeBron James and the Cavaliers, who held home court advantage and had just cakewalked through the Pacers in 4.
Ball game.
Game 1, LeBron came out swinging, putting up 35 and 10, while the Cavs dominated for most of the game. And our favorite Canadian duo once again disappointed. Game 2, LeBron continued feasting, dropping 39, and the Cavs once again took the lead early and never let the Raptors get close. Lowry was solid, while DeMar defrozened. He scored a whopping 5 points to go down 0-2. Game 3, Lowry would be out with a hurt back from running around with his massive rear, but DeMar was able to pick up the slack and had 36 points going into the 4th, keeping the game close. But in the 4th, he shit himself, scoring 1 singular point. LeBron, on the other hand, resumed his reign of terror, putting up 13 points in the quarter and not missing a shot, finishing with 35. The Raps were absolutely dominated in the 4th. Kyrie and Love didn't even have to play, and down 0-3, it was basically over. Game 4, Lowry once again didn't play. The Cavs would lead most of the game, but in the 4th, thanks to some all-around help, the Raptors would actually take a 1-point lead after an Ibaka and 1 halfway through the 4th. But then Kyrie would score 11 straight points for the Cavs, and LeBron would hit a fuck you 3 to ice it with less than 3 minutes left, this time sweeping the Raptors. LeBron had himself 35 more points, and during the series, he averaged 36 points per game, taking another huge step towards turning Toronto into LeBronto. If Lowry's rump didn't hinder him and he played the whole series, the Raptors probably would have been able to take a game or two, but the Cavs were still definitely the better team. The Raptors were going to need something big to transpire if they were going to have any real chance against them. And luckily for them, it did. After losing in brutal fashion to the Curry-KD Warriors, Kyrie became disgruntled and wanted his own team. So La GM shipped him off to Boston for an injured Isaiah Thomas, a few other players, and a pick. Isaiah was not the same after the injury, and at the deadline, the Cavs made a few trades to overhaul everything. And LeBron was now stuck with Kevin Love and a bunch of role players. While for the Raptors, things appeared great. The dynamic duo was still doing their thing, and the role players were showing up as well, with Fred VanVleet being a huge surprise. Their coach Dwayne Casey would win Coach of the Year, and they would secure the 1 seed. And this appeared to be their best chance at beating LeBron. In round 1, they would get past the John Wall-led Wizards in 6. And in round 2, once again, would find themselves matched up against LeBron and the Cavs, who looked very beatable after barely getting by the Pacers in 7. This was the year. It had to be. Game 1, Lowry and DeRozan would get off to a hot start, and the Raptors would be up by 14 after 1. Jeff Green and J.R. Smith would both have great second quarters, getting the Cavs to within 3 at halftime. The Raptors would hold a slight lead till the end of the game, where LeBron would hit a tough fader to tie it with 30 seconds left. And with a chance to take the lead and win, I guess LeBron's intimidation factor was in full effect, because the Raptors would miss not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 shots. 5 shots! I guess LeBron had the ability to lower the attributes of every Raptors player in the clutch. This was just straight embarrassing. Overtime was a pretty low scoring affair. Van Vliet would miss the big shot to take the lead, and most likely the game, and the Raptors would lose by 1. Lowry and DeRozan were pretty solid in this one, and LeBron wasn't anything special, but this team just couldn't get it done. Game 2 was close in the second half, but the Cavs pulled away in the second to win by 18. LeBron went absolutely stupid with 43 points and 14 assists to go with it. And once again, the Canadian duo was just alright. Game 3, the Raptors absolutely needed this one if they didn't want to be complete utter laughingstocks. They would trail most of the game with DeRozan playing like absolute shit. He would get subbed out with 2 minutes left in the third, down 16, and never return to the game. They would then make a miraculous comeback, tying it up with 8 seconds left off an OG Anunoby 3. But being the king of Toronto and all, this was too much time for King James.
Here it is. It's under 3 seconds to go. Throws up the floater. Good night, Cleveland.
And this bucket would cap off his 38-point performance. Dude was just on a different level in these playoffs, basically putting an end to the Raptors once again. Game 4 would be a bloodbath, with our boys soiling themselves as a duo for the last time, and the Cavs sweeping the Raptors in back-to-back years. I can't even imagine being a Raptors fan after this, even though it would all end up being worth it. LeBron and the Cavs would get swept by the Warriors, and he would leave for the Lakers in the offseason. And it appeared that Lowry, DeRozan, and the Raptors were finally free from his torment. But in one last cruel twist of fate, it appeared that the Raptors front office had seen enough of the duo and were looking for an upgrade. They would trade DeRozan for a disgruntled Kawhi Leonard, separating the two best friends in the process. Even with him out of the East, LeBron still had a hand in torturing this poor duo. LeBron averaged 31, 8, and 7 in the games against Toronto in the playoffs. And while playing in Toronto, his numbers were even better. I think if there's one thing we learned about the LeBronto experience, it's that LeBron hates Canada. And you made it to the end of the video, which means you probably enjoyed it. If you did, leaving a like and subscribing helps out a lot and is very much appreciated. If you're still here, comment La Canada to let me know you made it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love and appreciate every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and good night.